What's up, guys? And Panthers here, and welcome back to the Better Better. You see what I did there? The Better Better, the Better Bet. Never mind. So yesterday we did an accumulator, 7 teams, and unfortunately it came in short by 1 goal. The Porto Zenit goal was the only one that didn't come through. Super impressed by the feedback from you guys as well on this series. Like, there was a few complaints which I expected, but in general people seem to like this series. Now, the first thing I want to discuss is what the odds mean before we actually get into today's bets, because there's a lot of you guys that just don't understand what all this says. The easiest way to explain it is like 5-1 here for Cska Moscow means for every £1 that you put on, you will get £5 back if Cska Moscow win. And for example, the draw of 14-5 means for every £5 you put on, you'll get £14 back. You have odds like this, which is 1-16 on, which means for every £16 you put on, you get £1 back. So it's something that is incredibly likely to happen. So that's kind of how that works. It's never really just as simple as that, and it's been like many years of me gambling to really understand odds and betting and trading pretty much within betting, which you can do, which is something I'll probably touch on in the BPL over the weekend. But for today, guys, we're going to look at today's Champions League games, and again, we're going to be looking at goals markets. And the first game we've got here is a CSKA Moscow v Man City match. Now, Man City are playing pretty well at the moment, and BetFair have got over 2.5 goals on at 19-20, which is basically evens, which is basically £1 per pound, and I think that's a remarkable market price. Like, I think the value of that will drop dramatically. There will easily, for me anyway, there will easily be 3 goals or more in this game, and that's another thing that people asked about is how can you score 2.5 goals? Like, it's not actually half a goal. So like saying over 0.5 goals is the same as saying 1 goal or more. It's just easier for the betting to do it like that, basically. So I'm going to go for over 2.5 goals in the CSKA Moscow Man City match. I think that'll be 3 or 4 goals for Man City. I'm not necessarily too sure that Moscow will score. And in the Man United against Sociedad match, I'm going to go for over 1.5 goals. Both teams to score is a market that I could potentially touch on here, but you never know with Sociedad. Like Man United as well, like, they're not playing the best this season, but sometimes they have crazy good games, sometimes crazy bad games. Pretty positive there'll be 2 or more goals in this game. Next, we've got Bayern Munich against Plzen. This is just a dumb market, because Bayern are going to absolutely destroy them. I'm actually going to go for over 3.5 goals in this game. Now, this is a really risky bet, because these are the sort of games where Bayern may go 1 or 2-0 up and just take their foot off the pedal, because they don't want to destroy their team in terms of fitness, maybe get injuries and stuff for a game that's going to be won, done and dusted in no time at all. But on the same breath, like, they're such a good side that they could easily get, the 4 goals. But this is a risky one. This is one that may cost us the accumulator, but I'm putting it on just because I like the odds of it. 8-13 on it for me is a decent bet there to put on. Next, we've got Galatasaray against Copenhagen. Now, this is a game I don't really know much about these two teams. I know Galatasaray have got a solid squad right now. I don't really know anything about Copenhagen, and in that instance I tend to leave it alone. But because of how the markets look, the fact that 2.5 goals is odds on, 1.5 goals is more than odds on, we're actually going to go for the over 1.5 goals at 2-9 on, and throw it in there and just hope that Galatasaray and Drogba can put the goals in the back of the net for me. But this, usually I stay away from these games, but for today, because of how the market is, the fact that 2-9 over 1.5 is so far odds on, I'm gonna bet on it based on the odds and nothing else, which isn't really a good way to gamble, but just for this game I'm gonna do it. Next up, we have got Leverkusen against Shakhtar. German football in general is very openly scoring, and Shakhtar have got a really decent team. They've got a lot of Brazilians in their team that play very well, and we're once again just going to go for the over 1.5 goals on this one. I'm not going to go for both teams to score in this one, even though I do think both teams will score. I'm just going to go for the goals, and both teams to score is at 4-7 on, so it's not too much different from the 2-9 on for over 2.5 goals. We've got, how many games we've got left? 3 games left. We've got Anderlecht against Paris. Paris Saint-Germain, I'm just going to destroy them. I'm going to go for over 2.5 goals. Again, that's a really good price. 7-10 on is a crazy good price. So we're going to throw that in there. Last but not least, we've got 2 more. Benfica against Olympiakos and Real Madrid against Juventus. So Real Madrid against Juventus, I'm also going to go for over 2.5 goals. There's a lot of over 2.5 goals in this one, and that's usually bad news for me, because there's always the odd game here or there that just bottoms out and costs you. But Real Madrid are on form. Obviously, they've got an incredible team. Juventus are playing well as well. Goals, Italian football generally not really that well known for the goals, but you know, you got Real Madrid in there. They've got some superstar players. I got a feeling there's going to be goals in this game, but then I have a feeling there's going to be goals in most games. So last but not least, we do have one more game, which is the Benfica against Olympiakos game. And once again, I don't know anything about either of these teams in general. Portuguese football let me down yesterday where I needed over 1.5 goals, and today I'm going to do the same bet, over 1.5 goals, just because again it's odds on, like crazy odds on, 3 to 10 on. So we're going to put our £10 stake on that, and it's at 19.97, so we'll get like £190, 199.70 back if this bet comes in. The Man United odds, I guess, have changed, but we're going to place that bet and confirm that bet. And so there we go, guys. I'll put the bets in the description if I remember. But so we've gone for Moscow v Man City over 2.5 goals, PSG against Anderlecht over 2.5 goals, Bayern against Plzen over 3.5 goals, Benfica and Olympiakos and Galatasaray Copenhagen, Leverkusen Shakhtar and Man United v Sociedad all over 1.5 goals, and then Real Madrid against Juventus over 2.5 goals. That's how that bet slip looks. We'll win just short of £200 if it comes in. It's a risky bet, this one, and I don't recommend you guys to put this one on, to be honest, which is not the best thing to say when you're like trying to do a betting series. Like it's really not a good thing to say. But there's a couple there. Excuse me, my voice is breaking up. There's a couple there that I think the Bayern one is a risky one for sure. And I think the Real Madrid might be a risky one, but everything else I'm very comfortable with. So we'll see how that comes in. Put your bets in the betting section, guys, and if you want to follow my bets, then you're probably dumb as fuck and will lose your money. But hey, if that's what happens, then that's what happens. If we do get some bets coming in, that'd be fantastic. Of course, we lost the first betting slip, which was the minus £10, so we're now £20 in the hole. So a win would be very nice to put us back in the lead, and so on and so forth. And if you are enjoying these sort of videos, leaving a like on the video would be awesome. I'll be coming in with the BPL stuff on Saturday and Sunday with a bit of different stuff, not necessarily just goal markets, but there'll also be some like straight wins or both teams scores, or like first goal scorer triples, things like that, you know. So I'll be looking at that heavily on Friday night, and we'll come back on Saturday with that. But for now, let's get our fingers crossed, guys, and hope that we can pull in some money here. I'll be watching these games intently with my BetFair open, ticking them off as the goals come flying in. But guys, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Peace.